advancing, right? So what I did when I was in prison, I was an English teacher, so that gave me more of an opportunity to be out myself. But I thought that was better than to go do my high school. But I said when I get out, I'm gonna do my high school, right? So I can go into university. But that's when I thought, when I was in prison.
Okay.
When I went to prison, you know, it's like I was facing a long term, maybe a life sentence, you know? So it was about 5.5 years when my process till I got sentenced. But in those 5.5 years, I sat down and told myself, what is it that you're going to do out of your life? Because practically more than half of my life I've been in prison, so I told myself, well, I want to be somebody in life that can have una huella donde pueda ayudar a la gente. That's practically what I want to do. The way I beheld, I want to help others, you know? So that we can all succeed in life, and not because we have a background doesn't mean we can't be a better person, because we can. Just give us that opportunity.
Okay. So,
right? Out here fucking, y me paro el culo, no way. I come out here and set an example to all you motherfuckers that been out here so long, for so many years, and don't have nothing going in your life. But same shit, back and forth, 6 months good, 6 months right, 6 months bad, and back and forth. And what the fuck are you going? Where's your life going? To trash? When you can do something in your life, when you got a fucking brain to, you know, to succeed, and you don't want to do it. So I came out here to set an example, and I'm gonna keep on doing that, so motherfuckers can know that, you know, we can all do it.
Loquito.
What up?
So tell me a little bit about where you grew up.
I grew up in Venice, California, out there in the beach area, West LA. I got there in 1975, and I was there till 2003 when I got deported.
So tell me, what was life like in Venice?
What is it?
What was life like?
Life in Venice, to me, it was beautiful. I loved it. Nothing but the beach area, you know, a lot of things there. Growing up in the hood was awesome, you know, something that'll teach you how to live in life, how to go about life. You made wrong choices in life, that's why I'm out here now, right?
So as a child, you got involved with the street life, but why not, like, for instance, you're the only one from your family that got involved in that, right?
Right.
So what attracted you to the street life? What made you feel like you couldn't, like, belong in mainstream society?
Well, it's something hard to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you because it really hurts me, you know. When I was 7 years old, my dad tried to kill me. So I had the enemy at my house, you know.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to go out there with the homies where I felt loved, where I felt cared. Because at home, fucking, you would feel like, oh, your dad's coming home, fucking, you run on under the beds, hiding shit. You got the enemy at your house. So that's why I came to the streets, where I felt loved and cared for. Because at home, I didn't feel like.
So from a very young age, you were involved in the street life, right?
I'm saying 7 or 8 years old.
7 or 8 years old. And so, what was the type of education you got?
Well, my parents are illegal immigrants from Jalisco, right? So, education, well, I had education. I went to school, Westminster Elementary, right? I did go to school there, but I didn't really pay attention to school, right? Because I didn't care about school. I didn't have no education at home, you know? And I'd rather be on the streets making a penny to $1 where I can buy my own shoes and buy my own clothes, because at home I couldn't buy nothing but Payless Pro Wings or fucking cheap ass St. Joseph Center clothes, you know? So that's why I was on the street, making a penny to a dollar.
So Venice is a very, a very pretty city. Los Angeles is the city of opportunities. But you didn't really feel that type of opportunity growing up, did you?
No, I didn't feel none of those opportunities back in the days because maybe I was a kid, I was a child. I was somebody that didn't know what was really going on in life, but what I really did know was that I had the enemy in my house. Like I told you, my dad tried to kill me. I was 7 years old. So you can imagine how that got me. I was paranoid, I was stuck, I didn't know who to run to. And the only people that gave me that hug or that, what can I say? The secureness was the homies.
So you grew up in that environment and you eventually get involved in the system as a young, not even as a teenager, right?
No, I got involved in the system. I went to juvenile hall when I was 12 years old. I picked up my first charge when I was in 5th grade, right? I was in 5th grade and I got tired of somebody bullying me, which it was my cousin, my cousin from my hood and shit. So I don't know what happened to me that day. I guess I didn't tolerate him, and I stuck him with a pencil in the neck.
So you go to juvenile hall, and was there any education back then?
Yes, there was education in juvenile hall. I'm not going to say there wasn't, but I was only in the system of juvenile hall for 6 months, right? So in those 6 months, I did graduate from elementary.
Okay. And so, obviously, it seems at that age, your concern in life was more survival, right? It wasn't necessarily...
It wasn't survival.
Okay. And so you grow up and you're continuously in the system, you're on the streets. How did you...
Yeah, that's what it was, because when I first went to juvenile hall, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's like, God damn, this is jail, this is prison, fuck. This is fucking beautiful compared to my house, right? So there's a big difference if people know they've been in the system, that juvenile hall, popcorn, watch TV, whatever it is, they treat you like a human being. And at home, I didn't have that treatment. I didn't.
I can feel that. So at home, you feel scared, you feel neglected, you feel like you're not somebody. And I don't think at juvenile hall they treat you as a human being because they legally have to, right?
They have to legally.
But they don't take care of you, or did you feel like you were taken care of?
No, they don't take care of you like you need to be taken care of. But it's a total difference between your home, my home, and there, because there I could watch TV. I mean, I had a time to go out and play. I had a time to go to school. And they were not treating me like they treated me at home. At home was like, oh, your dad's coming. So we had to hide, we had to be under arrest. And that motherfucker used to put us out of motherfucking greñas, under a bed and beat us up for nothing, dog. So, juvenile hall was the bomb.
So, basically, I guess at a young age, you decided that was going to be your trajectory, that you were going to be involved within the kind of like, I don't want to even say the criminal element, but kind of like an oppositional culture, where you were going to be different from everybody else.
Yeah. I knew I was going to be different from everybody else because I like that lifestyle. I like that environment. I like that unity of the homies helping each other out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make a penny into a dollar. And what I didn't have at home. Because everybody was scared of my dad. Everybody couldn't say nothing about him because he was going to beat them up or whatever it was. And with the homies, but no, they weren't scared. They were not, they were out to help you out. If you have a home, they're not going to mistreat you. They're not, nothing. That's what I didn't have at home. Gracias.
So tell me, how did you end up in Mexico?
Well, I was in the United States in 1975. I was 8 months old when they brought me to the States. And when Ronald Reagan came out with that law about immigration, we all subscribed or whatever my family did, and we had that permanent resident.
So you were a permanent resident?
Yes, I was a permanent resident, but I never thought about it. I never thought about all that because it was not in my head, in my system. I didn't think we even need to be a permanent resident to be in the United States, honestly, because I was too in being in the game, you know. And when I hit the system, when I was 12 years old, I didn't think about it because I was coming in and out of juvenile hall, camp after camp. And when I hit county jail, that's when they stuck me with a fucking hold, with INS hold. So I was like, what the fuck? What is INS? So when they came to talk to me and told me, oh, well, INS, it means this and that, immigration, because you're not a U.S. citizen. So I was like, what? I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But yeah, I was born in Mexico. That I did know about that. So that's what happened. The first INS, they gave me a break and they fucking released me from county jail. And that was cool. But I kept on doing what I was doing, and eventually it caught up to me where they deported me in 2003.
So 2003, you're in Mexico. Did you feel that you were going to change your life, or did you feel that?
No, I felt like I came to Mexico in 2003 and kept on doing the same thing I was doing in the United States. So in 2003, I blew out of proportion and caught a case facing a life sentence here in Mexico.
So when did you feel like I want to change, or I need? Because when did you reach a time in your life where you felt like something needs to change?
Okay, when I was the last 5 years and a half of my system, of the 14 years that I did, my family, well, they didn't give me their back. They just taught me a lesson, right? They told me that from here on out, you're on your own, you know? There was no mail, there was no money, there was no phone calls, there was nothing. So that's when I sat down and realized that, okay, what are you going to do with your life? What's next? Are you going to go out to the real life and get killed? Or are you going to go out to get an education and be somebody in life and do something with your life? Or what is it that you really want to do? So that's when, like, I think it was like 2015, 2014, when I sat down and talked about that to myself, nobody else, to myself.
And at this time, you were teaching English in prison, right?
I was in federal prison in Separación número 12 in Guanajuato, and Separación número 4 in Tepic, Nayarit, Separación número 2 in Puente Grande, Jalisco. I was in those federal prisons, and that's when I sat down and talked to myself and told me, what is it that you want to do? Yes, I was teaching English when I was in there, but it was a way to get out of the cell. Because you only had half an hour out of your cell daily. And by being an English teacher, I was out of my cell all day. So that's what I did. But in my head, it was like that, like, get out and finish high school, and after high school, go to college. That's what I'm doing now.
So tell me when you started going to high school here and what led up to that.
Okay, when I got out of prison in 2020, February of 2020, I got out of prison. I'm from Jalisco, Los Altos. So when I was out of there, I wanted to change my life so bad, so I was milking cows. And then the homeboy Duke, which is Gilbert, he got a hold of me after I left him in 1984 was the last time I saw him, so I get to see him back in 2020. So
Wow.
that's a whole life, you know, like, wow. Somebody reaching out to you, and he told me about Guadalajara, he told me about the call centers, and he told me about the money out here. So that's when I told him, all right, I'll be out there, but let me get my paperwork together, right? I didn't have an ID, I didn't have anything. So in November of 2020, I got all my stuff together, and I came out here to Guadalajara, but I came out here to Guadalajara because there's a place that is run by Robert Hernandez that is una casa hogar, where there's people, homies, mostly homies that are welcome there to be a better person in life out here in Mexico, and we be guided. I didn't come there because I had a drug addiction. I came there because I needed a place to get a job. So that's what happened. I came there to Roberts and gave me the opportunity to stay there, which I stayed there for like 9 months. I got a job, I did what I was supposed to do, and through him I met Tran, and she helped me out to get a scholarship, and she gave me a scholarship. I got a scholarship, and I finished my high school, which is in a program out there in San Miguel Allende High School. It's called FES, and that's where I finished my high school. Not so long ago in February, but this is celebrated like last week, on Friday of last week, they celebrated it. So, yeah, I finished my high school. From there, I just want to go into the university and see if I could be an English teacher or go into politics.
Okay. So do you want to continue? I mean, because you haven't taught English for a while, do you want to be an English teacher here in Mexico?
I think being an English teacher here in Mexico be a lot of help to a lot of la sociedad, the society, because English is something that's very common here now. So I'm the type of person that likes to help and teach people what I know so that they can be better in life. So yeah, I mean, that's not a problem to be an English teacher. If I can get a degree there, I can do that. But yeah, I want to be a politic. I do want to be a politic for my own people.
So what interests you about politics? What do you mean by your own people?
Because when I say politics, it's because I feel like us homies are not treated the way we're supposed to be treated, even being Mexican citizens, because people here just like us, you know? And we shouldn't be treated the way we are treated, because we should have equal opportunity because we're Mexican citizens, right? So that's why I want to go into politics, to help my people have equal opportunities as the rest of Mexicans.
So have you ever, as a homie and openly a homie, is there ever discrimination in workplaces, and how do you deal with that? Or in society in general?
Well, yeah, I've always been discriminated everywhere I go here. Like in Mexico, fuck, bro. I've had, if you can check my background, I have complaints in Liverpool, I have complaints in fucking Coppel, I have complaints. Because people discriminate you just the way you look, the way you dress, the way you act, the way you talk. And that's sad because, look, I put food on their table. I come and buy from them. So why are you going to discriminate me, you know? Yeah, but there's a lot of discrimination because of us. Or hate, I don't know what it is, but there is.
Okay. All right, and if you could give any advice to homies who are returning to Mexico, what would you tell them?
The homies that are coming from the United States to Mexico, what I can tell the homies is that first thing for them to do here in Mexico is get their paperwork together and get an education if they don't have it. Because here, what counts is an educated person that can prove that they have an education. So you got paperwork that backs you up, no matter what, you're gonna be that person, right? So education is priority. To me, it's priority. So I can tell them that that's one thing that they need to do is get education. If they don't have it, get it.
All right. Thank you, Loquito.